Welcome to this program, Legal Matters. My name is Silvester. In this program, we get to discuss and unpack legal matters in our country and that are coming from our courts. And in today's program, we are going to be unpacking the Supreme Court judgment where the leader for MDC Alliance, who is Nelson Chamisa, was said to be out of the constitutional requirements, because they are saying he went to the top of the MDC Alliance or MDC through the back door without following the constitutional rules for the MDC. Also, Chamisa assumed the presidency of MDC through the other means that we may also know, according to the quorum which happened at Harvest House, which elected him to be the president of MDC, which did not go down well with Thokozani Kupe. And this was taken to court, and when that was done, we also learn that Nelson Chamisa was elected. After he was elected, we also understand that it didn't go down well with Thokozani Kupe. However, Thokozani Kupe never raised this issue when Morgan Tsvangirai was still alive, and it now only came to light when it was brought before the courts. And we understand that he also there was an appeal which also had nullified before in the High Court, and it went further to the High Court. Today we want to unpack this. It affects all political parties. It also affects voters. The court ruling also affects the other political parties, because in the near future we may see anyone going to the court. So we want to hear the president for Ideal Zimbabwe, who is Tinashe Jonas, who is joining us from South Africa. I want to welcome him to the program. Welcome, Mr. Tinashe Jonas.
Thank you so much for having you on your platform.
We also understand that you are in South Africa. We are experiencing a pandemic, which is coronavirus, which is happening.
In South Africa, it's worse because South Africa is nearing 1,500 cases right now. So yeah, that's the worst country now, worst affected country in Africa currently.
And tell us about the social distancing and the lockdown in South Africa. What's your experience as at the moment?
As in low density suburbs, it's okay, but in high density suburbs, maybe due to ignorance and also poverty, they are not following it. They are actually in trouble regularly with the police and the army.
And what's your take with the coronavirus before we get into this legal matter?
Specifically, what are you saying? Which area can I comment of coronavirus pandemic?
There are myths to surrounding the coronavirus. Some say it's a chemical warfare.
Okay.
Also, some say it's just a natural pandemic which is affecting people worldwide. How do you view it?
Okay, I won't quote myself, but I would quote popular narratives around the coronavirus. here in South Africa, where I'm staying in Pretoria. The first narrative is coronavirus. It's a way. It's actually people are saying it's a fake thing, meant to make the people, the world panic, and then after the shutdowns, they are going to bring a vaccine, which is like a chip. That when people are vaccinated, there will be a chip, and it will work alongside the 5G. So people are saying, as people are locked up now, they are busy installing 5G network, and through 5G network, they are going to control the world. They are going to make someone have cancer or someone die, because it will deprive oxygen from the human being, and then he will collapse and die. That's the most popular narrative in Pretoria. But as I'm not a medical expert, I wouldn't put flesh to the bones. That's the popular narrative.
To pass our condolences to everyone who lost their loved ones through the coronavirus, the COVID-19. We also say, may their soul rest in peace. And coming to this issue, you have been following the court proceedings in Zimbabwe, and you yourself, as the leader of the IDEAL Zimbabwe, a political party which is also looking for voters in Zimbabwe, we think and we feel that this will affect you. The Supreme Court judge's decision was made by Justice Paddington Garo and also Antoinette Guvava and Barrett Patel. The Supreme Court ruling on Tuesday ruled that Nelson Chamisa was not a legitimate leader for MDC. What's your take on this ruling, Mr. Jonas?
From my own basic understanding of law, after I read the MDC constitution, and it's so clear. I mean, there's no denying that our judiciary, every government department in Zimbabwe, the judiciary, the ZEG, the whatever you can, police, army, it's captured by ZANU-PF cult. That is so clear, and as Zimbabweans, any normal Zimbabwean would agree that we don't have a judiciary system in Zimbabwe. But nonetheless, on the case of I would say Kupe versus Chamisa, forget about those guys from whatever Gopwe district who brought the case to the High Court. It's a gimmick. It's actually Kupe Mwonzora fighting Chamisa. Yeah, so those guys are just the pawn. They're pawns. They're just fronting the Kupe faction. But the elephant is Chamisa versus Kupe. Okay. The judgment, to me, it's 100% correct, because no one can deny that the constitution was violated. Even the Chamisa Chete choir members, they are in denial, because our problem in Zimbabwe is that we support religion, politics, sport with deep-rooted emotions. So when people are emotionally aligned to something, they stop reasoning. They lie to themselves and believe their lies. Whether you approach Chamisa or you're anti-Chamisa, whatever your position, Chamisa violated the constitution of MDC, and him, wherever he is, if he's listening now, he agrees with me. But because what they are saying, the Chamisa Kembe is running away from the legality of this matter, and they want to play the political side of the game. Because they have got numbers, they've got people. That is a fact. Chamisa is popular, he has got people more than Kupe. But when we talk about justice, when we talk about legality, Chamisa is 100% wrong. The Supreme Court judgment was correct. But now, on the moral grounds, we can then condemn the ZANU-PF cult and Malava, anti-Chief Justice Malava, for delivering the judgment on the second day of the Zimbabwean lockdown, when everything must shut down or lock down in honor of the pandemic. ZANU-PF had to pull a trigger on a life-changing judgment, which shows us that ZANU-PF cult doesn't care about people. They play political ball. They don't play a moral, caring ball, developmental ball. They don't care. They play politics left, right, and center.
Yes, the issue here is not about ZANU-PF, because they were not sitting behind the back benches of the courts. But remember, also Chamisa went to the Supreme Court concerning the 2018 elections. And the issue we now have at hand is that the constitution of MDC is what is at stake right now, whether it was followed or it wasn't followed. And that's what we want to discuss about, because some of those issues or allegations that we may not have evidence to, like concerning Malava you have just mentioned, we don't have evidence as to why you would say they are captured by ZANU-PF.
Okay.
Because they are following the constitution of MDC. If we are to stick to the constitution of MDC, let's stick to the constitution of MDC. If we are to stick to we shift to have a paradigm shift and talk about the politics in the arena, then we can now mix all of them together. But this time we can mix the judiciary, the law at stake, and also and speak about what's at hand right now, what came out of the court. Was it right, like you are saying? Was it wrong? And how does it affect you as politicians around the same courts, which you may also found yourself in the same courts tomorrow?
Okay. In conclusion, the MDC constitution was 100% violated by the Chamisa Chete choir. But unfortunately, our politics in Zimbabwe has been turned into cults. So people who support Chamisa are now a cult. They will never stop a second and reason. Because they just want to support their leader, their favorite leader. Everything else is, to them, it's witchcraft. That's the unfortunate part in Zimbabwe, that our politics is emotional, is highly polarized. So the Chamisa choir, the Chamisa Chete choir members, they will never sing a song of justice. They will never sing a song of constitutionalism. Their song is only Chamisa is Alpha and Omega. Chamisa is pure. Chamisa is an angel. So that's the unfortunate part. But legally speaking, Chamisa is 100% wrong. The judgment of the Supreme Court was correct, and it's correct.
Okay, let's go back to the MDC constitution. You remember there was Thokozani Kupe as the duly elected vice president for the MDC through the legal means. You understand that?
Yes.
Right.
Agree.
After that, the late president Nelson Chamisa also appointed 2 vice presidents. You understand about that, right?
Right. Very well.
Let's come back now to the new political arena. Let's use wisdom. There was the constitution on the other side. There was also wisdom on the other side, on the part of the late president. He invited 2 vice president, Mudzuri and what's his name, and Nelson Chamisa. After maybe he could have realized that if we are to contest the elections, the elected vice president may not make it. Hence the reason why he ended up with other 2 vice presidents. We can say that why, because there's evidence at hand where the 2 contested in the same elections, and Madame Kupe, Dr. Kupe got 45,000 votes, and the hand-picked vice president went on to win more than 2 million votes. What's your take on that?
Okay. The first, basing on a legal point of view, the appointment, both appointments of Engineer Mudzuri and Nelson Chamisa were, according to MDC constitution, were illegal. They were legally wrong. We can call it wisdom or whatever, but that was a sign of dictatorship. Because why would you, Secretary General Douglas Mwonzora, battle it out with Chamisa to lend the position of Secretary General? And then, Douglas Mwonzora celebrated after defeating Chamisa. And they defeated Chamisa, woke up the boss again of the winning Mwonzora as a vice president. So what was the purpose of battling the two for a lower position of Secretary General when Morgan Tsvangirai knew that he wanted Chamisa as a vice president? Morgan Tsvangirai was clearly, of course, may his soul rest in peace, but politically Morgan Tsvangirai was a dictator. He was 100% a dictator because he overstayed as an MDC president. His constitution was clearly stating 10 years. But he was now using that I'm not yet the president of Zimbabwe, so I would stay on. He almost stayed another decade. Officially, Morgan Tsvangirai died in office. More than the cruel dictator Robert Mugabe, who actually died out of office. Whatever made him to be out of power, but he died out of office. The movement for democratic change principle, Morgan Tsvangirai died inside the office, no matter he was sick, and he couldn't even want to appoint someone through constitutional means to be his replacer. At least he was supposed to appoint his replacer because he was clearly at an advanced level of sickness. So legally, again, Chamisa was appointed illegally as a vice president. Then, like Chamisa being the best foot forward, that was supposed to be decided by a constitutionally,
by the Congress.
There was supposed to be a Congress was supposed to be done because Chamisa was popular, was young. I think there was no need of him being in a hurry. Being in a hurry tells us something. Number one, either Chamisa, his handlers in G40, was pushing him to say, go over the cliff, or he was afraid of Mwonzora in the Congress because Mwonzora had defeated him. So those two are my permutations that made Nelson Chamisa to jump over the cliff to land the presidency, because surely the three vice presidents had the capacity to do the logistics of burying their leader and arrange a constitution, a Congress. And then coming to your question of saying, how does the Supreme or the Court of Zimbabwe affect us as the fellow politicians or fellow opposition leaders? Tomorrow, fortunately I'm going to answer this question not basing on my futuristic dealing with the courts, but I already dealt with the courts 11 March last year, 2019, when I tried to demonstrate to Munumutapa building to effect a citizen arrest on President Mnangagwa, Chiwenga, and Mohadi on charges. Number one, being coup leaders. They took over the government through military means. Two, they killed so many Zimbabweans. Three, they looted so much out of our country. As I was supposed to, when I was about to go to arrest them, the military of Zimbabwe, military intelligence, abducted me, and then I was tortured, and then I was charged with the two counts of insulting and undermining the office of the president. First case referring to Mnangagwa, when I said Mnangagwa is not a child with Monica Mutangwa, and then I said Chiwenga is a bleaching moron on the second count.
That is something that we can also talk on on another platform, but we also wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I was in court.
Yeah.
Okay. As I was in court, my lawyers argued that I said Mnangagwa has got a child with the Minister Monica Muchangwa, we want a DNA test or a paternity test. The court dismissed calling Mnangagwa and Monica Muchangwa and the child to do a blood test. But they wanted to continue with my trial. Number two, because I said Chiwenga bleached, we wanted him to come to court so that we put a spotlight on his face. And then we see in reality whether the skin is bleached or not. The court didn't want him to come to court, but still wanted to proceed with my trial. Number two, my lawyers applied my case to go to the Constitutional Court. Because as an opposition leader, I'm allowed to oppose the ills and the shrinking of democratic space in Zimbabwe. And shockingly, my application was turned down on flimsy ground that on technicality, I was supposed to give evidence whatsoever. They refused my case to go to High Court. Our judiciary is compromised. It's hand controlled by ZANU-PF and the military general. That is true,
but you can also say that is hand controlled. But when you were asked for an evidence, looking at your own case, did you provide the evidence that was needed?
No, my evidence was Mnangagwa and Monica. They were supposed to come with the kids of Monica to do a DNA test.
About the supposedly coup. If anyone wakes up today and go to the court and say the only way we can discuss this issue, unpacking this court judgment, is going back to the ZANU-PF constitution, not necessarily maybe your arrest, because we understand maybe you didn't put your facts together for you to be able to convince the court that you had a case at hand. But maybe it was just we wanted to shame them or whatever your ambitions were. But if we were to go back to the constitution of ZANU-PF, irrespective of the fact that you call it a coup or what, we can talk about what happened during November when the vice president, Pekezela Mpoko, was the vice president then. Then we can now start to talk about the constitution of ZANU-PF, whether it was violated or it wasn't violated.
Okay. If you go to report to police,
if we are to follow maybe the constitutional route, that's what you can comment on.
Okay. The constitution of ZANU-PF was violated at 100% by Mnangagwa and Chiwenga and the military juntas. It was violated, but no one in Zimbabwe can report to a police station. If you can report, the case will never be, it won't be taken to anywhere. If it goes to court, the court will declare, they will rule against you. Because, so anyone who violates his constitution or whatsoever, or the constitution of the country, would be found guilty, and the judgment would be clear and brutally on him. But Emmerson Mnangagwa, as a coup leader of the country who violated ZANU-PF constitution, the constitution of Zimbabwe, is sitting there enjoying, because Malaba even ruled that the coup was not a coup. So, I mean, it's not. There's no rule of law in Zimbabwe, because as I agree that Chamisa violated the constitution of MDC, but equally so, Mnangagwa violated both the constitution of ZANU-PF and the constitution of the country, which is treasonous. Nelson Chamisa didn't commit treason. Nelson Chamisa committed a crime that can be rectified by his own political party. But Mnangagwa must be hanged. Mnangagwa must face a firing squad. But no one can do that. That's why when I tried to arrest Mnangagwa, military intelligence abducted me. Which country? Why was the military intelligence involved in arresting me? If my case was insulting Mnangagwa, why I was arrested by the military intelligence? Why I was tortured? Why I was injected in prison?
Okay, let's go back to the matter at hand. There is the court also said the acting president can also convene that they have a congress in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes. In your own assessment, judging from the previous election of 2018, who emerged the winner? If Chamisa is to agree to go to the same Congress convened by the acting president, who is Dr. Kupe, what's your view on that? Who will come up victorious?
If the election was, there are two permutations here, there are two scenarios. The first scenario A, if the election is done, no rigging, no whatsoever, Nelson Chamisa is going to win resoundingly. There's no doubt. Nelson Chamisa is going to win without doubt. But let me go to scenario B, which is the reality, which will be the real outcome. This election, this Congress is going to be done in what context? In the context of animosity, in the context of hate, in the context of enmity. These people are going to settle, the Congress is going to settle political battles, meaning the Mwonzora and the Kupe and the Komichi faction, they are going to manipulate the party structures and make sure that those who are going to vote are anti-Chamisa. People who are clearly known to be anti-Chamisa are going to be the delegates. They were going to form the Congress or Electoral College. Chamisa is going to lose. The reality is that also Chamisa is going to lose that Congress to be done in 3 months, not because he doesn't have support, because it's a political battle which is done. They can't shoot each other with guns. They can't stab each other with knives. They would stab each other by manipulating the Congress. Because the Congress done in Gweru by Chamisa last year was also to weed all the people who were loyal to Mwonzora or Morgan Tsvangirai, so that it becomes a 100% takeover. There was no Congress in Gweru. It was that MDC Alliance Congress was just a rubber stamp of everyone who was known to be a Chamisa Chete choir member. All the Chamisa Chete choir members emerged victorious, including the biggest beneficiaries, the rebels, Welshman Ngube, Tendai Biti, and Job Sikala. The people we know that betrayed Morgan Tsvangirai, who is iconic in opposition politics in Zimbabwe, and then they came back at the back door of MDC Alliance, when in actual fact, they just came back home. They were just supposed to put their tails, political tails behind their legs, shameful legs, and come home and apologize, because they never ran away to form their political parties. They ran away with money to avoid to be in prison. They then ran away and formed their political parties so that it looks like a political factionalism, political dispute, yet it was clearly a robbery. Tendai Biti is not a politician. Tendai Biti is a robber. He's a daylight robber. Welshman daylight robbers. So, yeah, that's what I can say. Nelson Chamisa is going to lose the Congress because the Mwonzoras, they want power, they've got handlers. They would manipulate the Electoral College.
You have said that during the Congress they just endorsed Chamisa. What does the Constitution of Zimbabwe say in terms of electing you as the president?
A good question. A good question. According to the Constitution of Zimbabwe, remember, I am not an appointed president. I am a founding president. I started I Do Zimbabwe on activism grounds. And then I got people who joined me when they endorsed that what I'm doing is a good job. So I'm different from other political parties which were like formed. I founded I Do Zimbabwe on activism grounds and found comrades who then supported my cause. And then we then drafted a constitution which says before the election, we must hold a congress before the elections. That will be turning actually, yeah, before the 2023 elections. We're going to do a congress whereby the winner is going to be our best foot forward.
Okay. Now that you are implying a democracy in your party.
Yes.
If you are you in a position, if anyone else within those comrades that you have mentioned want to assume power the same way you are now denouncing Mwonzora and others in the MDC alliance, are you also going to relinquish power since you are the founding president? Are you not going to say, I am the founding president of Ideal Zimbabwe, even if people like you, I'm going to remain the president, even if the Congress has declared that you through the ballot box you have won?
Thank you for that democratic question. The job I'm doing as an interim I Do Zimbabwe president, it's a risky job. That will take me to prison, take me to be assassinated, that can take me to be tortured. I think, remember, I'm more of a political activist. So because our party is a revolutionary party, I think I would be so happy even if there's someone who can not only wait for Congress. If there's someone brave enough in our party who want to take the position, I will gladly do so, because our party is different from MDC. MDC is doing academic and pastoral politics. Look at Mwonzora is a gentleman, Chamisa is a gentleman. That kind of politics, ZANU-PF, it doesn't put you at risk because they won't remove ZANU-PF. They are pastors, they are gentlemen, they are weak. Our political party is building a momentum to face ZANU-PF head on, because we are planning a mass uprising. If the mass uprising doesn't work in the month of May, the next month, we are prepared to create even a full-scale war with the ZANU-PF.
If we are going to say the way forward now concerning this this court outcome, if it happens that they stand by their footing, where they are saying MDC alliance is different from MDCT. MDCT is now water under the bridge. How does it then affect them moving forward as an independent political party, from your own view as an opposition leader as well?
Okay, I'll talk of scenarios here. The first scenario is that is already playing out. That Kupe is the president of MDCT. Chamisa is saying I'm the president of the MDC alliance. This is already playing. And we are seeing people like Bondo, people like Joanna Mamombe, the small house of Chamisa, the political wife. They are already writing letters and pledging allegiance to Chamisa, although they are doing that at gunpoint. That scenario is the best scenario. Why? It's the best scenario because Thokozani Kupe is being handled by the Lacoste, which is ED Mnangagwa, and then Chamisa is being handled by G40, which is your Patrick Joao, your Jonathan Moyo, which is the G40, another branch of ZANU-PF.
Do you have evidence that Dr. Kupe is being handled by ZANU-PF, or is just hearsay?
I've got evidence. If I'm forced, I can release even 60 tapes of Thokozani Kupe with Mnangagwa. All right. Then, so these two leaders, because they are handled by two different factions.
Let's go back to the era when the late Morgan Tsvangirai was in power. At some point, he was the prime minister of this country. It meant that they spoke and deliberated issues of this nation, of that government at that time, and they would work together. And there's now an issue of Pollard right now, where, of course, we expect Coupe and other political parties, including yourself, to be among the Pollard members, so that you deliberate and have a dialogue to take this nation forward. So we cannot say because we see them together, ZANU-PF is taking Coupe to bed. Can we say?
Okay. So I think Chamisa, the MPs in parliament are going to lose who went under MDCT, because they are legally under Coupe now.
Lacoste is taking is aligned with Coupe, and also what's his name, Nelson Chamisa is also aligned to G40, and this is what I'm saying. Are we not supposed to see them eating on the same table, talking the same issues that take Zimbabwe forward?
Okay.
If they are seen together, they are seen to be in a love affair. Why is it so from your own point of view?
From my own point of view, Thokozani Coupe has never been a politician. She uses her legs to advance a political career. Thokozani Coupe used her legs.
Do you have evidence to that, pictures that show Dr. Thokozani Coupe with someone else? We are talking of the issues that you have evidence, like the case that you wanted, you were before the courts. You remember they asked you for evidence, and until now you continue to accuse and allege other things that you don't have evidence to, which to us as Zimbabweans, as voters or the viewers, they cannot take you as a serious president who just accused other people of just being a nuisance, or you allege certain things are happening in their lives, but there is no evidence to that.
Zimbabweans are allergic to the truth. I saved my evidence is Emerson Mnangagwa to take a DNA test with Monica Mchangwa and all the kids of Monica Mchangwa. The result will prove that Emerson Mnangagwa has got a love child with Monica Mchangwa. Okay. Going back to the issue of Pollard. Pollard has been in practice for some time now. No one in Zimbabwe can point out to the results of Pollard. Pollard is a nonsense project which is wasting taxpayers' money. To me, Pollard, it's a farm. It's command dialogue. Because it's not legally constituted, because it's not a legal entity. Because Mnangagwa won the election as ZANU-PF. And ZANU-PF is in government now. There's parliament, there's a presidential advisory committee. I mean, there's Politburo. There's no need of Pollard. There's the individual. All the players who are in Pollard are political failures, political dwarfs. Love Moma Duku is not a politician. He's just a businessman who uses politics to look for money. Brian Muteki. We have got clowns in Pollard. There's no results in Pollard except that it must be a program on TV where people, they enjoy a series. It must be a series under SlyMedia TV or ZBC. Whoever can get the broadcasting rights. Okay, so Pollard is not going to solve any problems of Zimbabwe, because Mnangagwa himself, he doesn't have capacity to solve problems of ZANU-PF, to solve problems of the country.
Maybe we may agree with you that he doesn't have the capacity, but when he invites people to come to the same table and discuss the way forward for Zimbabwe, is that not a good gesture?
Thank you. It's a bad gesture, because Mnangagwa won an election, and this government was trusted by people, so-called voters, although we know the voters is the military of Zimbabwe. Now, he must run the country. Zimbabweans have put their hope and trust and faith in Mnangagwa's administration. They must run. By creating Pollard and inviting opposition leaders, they are indirectly confessing failure to run the country. If I can go to Pollard today, I would, if I get a platform to announce, to talk, I would tell President, to say, President, can you do the honorary thing right now and announce your resignation in office with your entire administration? Because Pollard is a platform for people to tell Mnangagwa to resign with these ZANU-PF clowns. If then people in Pollard are afraid to say that, it's our duty as Zimbabweans, me as the leader of command of Chimurenga 3, to tell Zimbabweans a signal in the end of this month, so that we help with the ZANU-PF system to go out of our offices by a passive mass uprising.
You're talking of uprising, and you're also talking of MDC violating their constitution. Is that a constitutional right to have an uprising?
Thank you. Thank you for that revolutionary question. When peaceful means are being rejected, the only way is violent. I'm reaching out to Chamisa Chete choir members to say, although we differ politically, because you want Chamisa to be the president of Zimbabwe, you are not fighting for MDC supporters or members are not fighting for change in Zimbabwe. They are not fighting for human rights. They are not fighting for constitutionalism. They are fighting for Nelson Chamisa to be a president, which is a wrong cause, and we won't achieve anything. For once, as Zimbabweans, can we be united against the oppression and suffering? Emmerson Mnangagwa and his administration is illegitimate. Two, they've dismally failed. Let's be united against the failure of ZANU-PF. Let's be united against the poverty and oppression, so that we rise.
Here is a question for you. If at all, you are calling for unity, for one cause and one purpose, for Zimbabwe to go forward on a positive note, so that we create employment, investment come to Zimbabwe. At the same time, you are also refusing to be part of a Pollard, which the president says is an ideal situation, where he's saying, bring your ideas to me, so that we can put them together and form a Zimbabwe that is acceptable and that is conducive for investment in Zimbabwe. And also the fact that he has been in power not for long, he is trying to repair things that have been damaged over a period of some time. If he is saying, give me time, Rome was not built in a day, what's your take to that?
I mean, we can't put Mnangagwa and Chiwenga to be confused in the political laboratory of Zimbabwe. Every day when they are experimenting in their offices, it's ordinary Zimbabweans who are suffering and dying. There's a silent genocide in Zimbabwe happening currently. People are dying. We are slaves in diaspora. We are slaves in the UK, in South Africa. Zimbabweans can't suffer when Mnangagwa and Chiwenga are experimenting.
You were to be the president of Zimbabwe today, how many months do you need to turn around the economy of Zimbabwe?
Thank you. 6 months, it's going to be enough. Why I say 6 months? If I become a president today, I would create research units across all governmental ministries, like Minister of Finance, whatsoever. We need to research the data to run a country. Currently, the government of ZANU-PF is running the country on personal opinion, command agriculture, command dialogue, whatever. You need informed.
primary data in order for you to implement that data that you would have collected within 6 months and implement that and turn around the economy?
No, get my point. There is a lot of data about Zimbabwe right now, but no one is...
Research unit, if I got you right, you are going to set up a research unit that will bring primary data that will help you implement those policies in order to turn around the economy of Zimbabwe. And you are now turning around again and saying, you know, there are already people who are researching. Where is your position exactly?
No, get my point. I am saying there are some researchers in Zimbabwe or organization or it's IMF or whatever. There's been researches going on ever since. Every day people are researching. But as a government would give a period of 6 months to get primary data, because you don't run a country on opinion. You don't run a country on populism to get votes. You don't just wake up as a president and say, build a highway, build a mall. You need to know at what commercial value to the community, at what loss. I mean, you need data. You don't. I mean, a country. You don't run a country to win an election. You don't just give people. Food. You give people t-shirts. You don't just give handouts so that people they love you. A country is not run on handouts. Handouts are counted. Productive. If you go everywhere in the world, when we talk about trade, for example, trade deals that Zimbabwe signed with China or whatever, we need to have research on those trade deals. Are they benefiting our Zimbabwe economy? Are they at our expense? Are they good deals? Zimbabwe is signing deals left, right, and center. Are they good deals? Surely they must not be good deals if the economy is going down. Look, people wake up, the Zim dollar. We are no longer using bonds. US dollar. They wake up, let's use US dollar. They wake up, our currency rate is now 1 bond to 25 US dollar. It's experimental. Why are they fumbling? Why is Mutuli Ngube fumbling every day? He doesn't have primary data. All what he talks is said by the Politburo. All what he says is to fool Zimbabweans so that they loot money through the reserve bank. I mean, if you don't have primary data, all what you are saying is backing. Kuhukura.
Do you have, as an aspiring president for Ideal Zimbabwe, who think in the near future you'll be able to be the president of Zimbabwe come maybe 2023? The primary data that you already have at hand in your folders, in your file, is to do what? Just give me 5 of those things that you can use to turn around this economy. Because they are voters. You will never vote yourself into being the president of Zimbabwe. Maybe you can endorse yourself as president of Ideal Zimbabwe. But for Zimbabwe as a nation, or to run the government in Zimbabwe, you need to have the support of the people. And for you to have the support of the people, you need to convince them with your own election manifesto. What is it that we have? 5 things quickly that you say these are things that the population of Zimbabwe or the electorate will buy my manifesto.
Okay. I want you to understand one thing. Our manifesto has been drawn into 2 phases. In the phase from 1 May to the next election, which is 2023, we won't talk about jobs or about anything. We want to talk about freedom. There is no election in Zimbabwe in 2023 which is going to benefit any ordinary Zimbabwean without removing the ZANU-PF system. So our manifesto up to the next election is one word: freedom. We are going to remove ZANU-PF by legal means, which is mass uprisings. If we fail, a full-scale war, whether a coup or a military war, we are going to do. So our manifesto is in one word: freedom. By a revolution, Chimurenga 3, which is the mass uprising. If it fails, we are going to take up arms and fight ZANU-PF. That is our manifesto for now. The economy, jobs, we are going to talk after we remove ZANU-PF.
It consists of a huge following or the support of the masses of Zimbabwe. What is it that they will support you?
Zimbabweans have been brainwashed by MDC to sing Yezokobra, Puti Chiwenga Mudenga, Puti Mnangagwa Mudenga Bra, holding imagining it's Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. Meaning those people would be in office forever because the Chamisa Chete choir are putting them down, killing them through imaginary means. We are saying to Zimbabwe, wait. Okay. Wait. Okay. Okay.
Aside from the masses of the Zimbabweans who are going to support your cause, whether it's illegal or illegal.
Thank you so much. If you are a leader, you don't speak what people want to hear. If you are a leader, you speak the truth. You clearly lay out the direction. People, how many people follow the direction or not? A revolution is not mobilized the entire nation. A revolutionary starts the revolution alone. People join the second person, third person. People were living when they were shepherds during the 1979. A shepherd was abandoning his cattle, his sheep, to join the liberation comrades in Mozambique. A revolution must be inspiring because through the cause. I'm not there to go and beg the Zimbabweans. I'm not going to beg anyone, but I'm going to clearly tell Zimbabweans that the direction we need is a revolution. Let's start a passive mass uprising in May. If you don't listen to me because you love Kupe, because you love Chamisa, you are going to suffer until Noah comes with the second act.
Let's go back to our viewers on SlyMedia. Thank you so much for watching. We all have a part to take in this discussion. We also have what's his name, Stephen Edwards. Why is he talking about Chimurenga? Is it the right platform to talk about that? This is what is coming from Stephen Edwards. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah. No, I'm available to respond to any question. We are a nation which is the so-called academics. We talk of platforms, we talk about everything. Zimbabweans are suffering right now. We are suffering. It's a crisis. We are in emergency. Which platform should we wait for? It's a right platform, yes. Because we are talking politics here.
He's only good at attacking other opposition parties. What do you have to say about that? Meaning you have nothing to offer, all you have is to attack other political parties from the ruling party and all other opposition parties. Which opposition party is good for you?
Okay, all right. I said Zimbabweans are emotionally attached to political parties. So when you say the truth, they take it as attacking. Because the Mnangagwa is an angel, Chamisa is an angel. Everything which has been existing now is wrong. The opposition in Zimbabwe is wrong. The ruling party is wrong. What is the evidence? The country's economy is going down to the dogs. Everything, we need resetting.
Mr. Jonas, we also have Stephen Edwards is coming back and saying, is this guy lied about abduction in South Africa? Do you have evidence of the torture that you experienced when the army captured you, like you are saying? What evidence do you have to show to the world that you were? Okay. I guess you would allow me to answer every question.
Yes. I was answering the first question that I'm attacking every leader, opposition, and the ruling party. There's no doubt that the ruling party ZANU-PF has failed us in the last 40 years. There's no doubt that MDC has failed us. Ideal Zimbabwe is formed
when you say us, I don't want you to go astray. When you say us, who are you talking about? When you say us, Who are you talking about? Are you the 2 million?
Okay, let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. Please allow me to answer your question. There's no doubt that MDC has failed in the 20 years of their existence, because MDC wanted to remove ZANU-PF through constitutional means, through ZEC, through the Supreme Court. But they cry that ZEC is rigging. They cry that the courts are captured. So they are confused. So the MDC is confused. ZANU-PF can only be removed through a revolution, which is a passive uprising. I'll give the signal and the how. That's the only way. If we fail with the passive, they kill people, they arrest people, then we take up arms. There's no other way.
Other means, which is not constitutional.
ZANU-PF is not illegitimate. Okay, ZANU-PF is illegitimate. Let's assume they are legitimate. If they are legitimate, number two, let's agree they've dismally failed. That's why they are creating Pollard to bring people to come with ideas. If they failed, they must go. If the constitution of Zimbabwe allows Zimbabweans to put up a government in power through voting, if the government fails, we should be allowed to take the government out. ZANU-PF is in power. Wait. ZANU-PF is in power. They fought the Smith administration by guns. Why are we not allowed to fight them with guns? ZANU-PF know better that a gun speaks louder. That's why they are using guns to oppress us. It's our turn now to be war veterans. People are enjoying our country because Chiwenga was at war, or Pamuchinguri, although she's empty-headed, but she's a minister, she came from war. This is our chance also to go to war and enjoy Zimbabwe as war veterans.
And who? Is the question you are not answering. You and who? Because you have said the Zimbabweans are brainwashed. So who are you with?
There are comrades who are supporting me.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the viewers. There's Bekezela Nyoni says, seldom he talks sense. Most of the time it's just a lot of nonsense. What do you have to say to Bekezela
Nyoni? Defining the word nonsense can be subjective, because I mean, in English we say familiarity breeds contempt. People have been familiar with the politicians talking, so maybe they are tired of listening. I'm finding Zimbabweans, when they are tired, 40 years of listening to political speeches, while their lives is deteriorating, is worsening. But I'm appealing to Zimbabweans to say, I speak freedom, I speak wisdom. The nonsense you are used is the nonsense coming from Chamisa, the nonsense coming from Nangagwa, the nonsense coming from Kupe, where they are mobilizing for elections of 2023. That nonsense. Elections of 2023 are done. Mnangagwa is the winner. 2028, depending it's Mnangagwa contesting or it's Chiwenga, ZANU-PF is going to win. ZANU-PF, mark my words, is going to win the next 100 years if we go to the route of elections. That is nonsense. So Bekezela, what nonsense is you listening to elections campaigning from Chamisa or Okupe? That is the nonsense.
Okay, the viewers are listening and hearing what you are talking about, and the future of your party, I Choose Zimbabwe, is a party that wants to dislodge the government in Zimbabwe. Do you think you are still safe in South Africa, where the SADC is also South Africa is also a member of the SADC, which involves Zimbabwe? Do you think they can continue to keep you in South Africa while you have plans to dislodge the government in Zimbabwe by illegal means?
Thank you so much. Currently, I can't say I'm safe in South Africa. But I know that South Africa is the right country to be currently, because Mnangagwa was kept in South Africa to come and remove Mugabe. So South Africa can't arrest me and say you are here planning a coup in Zimbabwe, because I'm following the footsteps of ED. That's number one. Number two, I'm allowed to leave South Africa to other countries when I feel to do that. But currently, I'm not yet moving into Zimbabwe to remove ED. But ED must know that I'm coming. I came to arrest him with bare hands, and I saw what happened. And I promised him that when I come second time, I will come militarily. I definitely going to come.
Chiduku also has a comment here. He says, at least he speaks his mind out. There you are, Chiduku is supporting you. And Lloyd Chimika says you are a daydreamer. And also Bella Ranganai says, Ndatuti pane munu ini mupengo uyu.
Okay, all right. All right. I said, what is leadership? Leadership is to be in front. Whether people are following or they are not, because I'm introducing a new product in Zimbabwe of a revolution. Zimbabweans are cowards. We are cowards. We are afraid of ZANU-PF. 40 years of being intimidated, 40 years of being tortured, 40 years of being killed. So Zimbabweans, they need a miracle to free the country. I can urge those who think I'm mad, don't cry with the Supreme Court judgment. Those who think I'm mad, 2023, don't cry and say Chamisa was rigged again. If you cry, MDC supporters have been crying for 20 years that they are being rigged, but they still go to SEC. They are crying that the courts are captured. They are still going to the same court. That is madness. MDC supporters must be taken to Enguchen. You are clearly, that is the evidence that you are made.
About maybe aligning the laws so that they have a fair playing field when it comes to election. What reforms do you think they must be implemented before we go to the elections in 2023 as we round off this discussion?
There is no way Zimbabwe is officially under the army. It's a military state. You can't tell the army to reform. Mnangagwa is just a front of the military. We are under military rule. To then tell the army to reform, that is called command reformation. For you to implement command reformation, you need to have guns. There's no way you can go to ZANU-PF and or the army. MDC has been crying for reforms for 20 years. That's why I call it the MDC or the Chamisa Chete choir. We want the reforms. We want the reforms from who? From General Vitali, from General this army, Valerio Mnangagwa. Valerio Mnangagwa, as a cousin brother of Mnangagwa, is there to make sure that nothing can threaten the power to Mnangagwa. So there is no reforms in Zimbabwe. The army won't reform. The army will fight. If we want the reforms, we should uprise. If the uprising doesn't work, we need to take arms. That's the only reforms that can come. If ZANU-PF is in power, we'll never have reforms.
Mr. Jonas, leader of Ideal Zimbabwe, there you are, viewers from South Africa, talking to us about what he thinks about the political. listening right now. But I'm not very sure if you are not influencing the Zimbabweans to go the uprising way against a legitimate government.
Okay, I will correct you for free. The ZANU-PF government is not legitimate. It's illegitimate. It's illegitimate. And it's not ZANU-PF actually, it's the military. The military is controlling Zimbabwe. I want to say to Zimbabweans, Zimbabwe...
They went through the elections, and President Mnangagwa won through the ballot box, and the Supreme Court also approved that.
Okay, when you suffer enough, you are going to ring me privately and tell me that they are not illegitimate. Those who think ZANU-PF is legitimate, I will give it to suffering. You will suffer, and the brainwashing is going to come out. And then to those Zimbabweans who think I'm mentally challenged, I will say good luck. The day you are going to cry suffering, one, the day you are going to see Chamisa being butchered and being oppressed by ZANU-PF, and you want, and the day is going to be rigged in 2023, and you are going to cry. No reforms are going to come. You are going to cry. There won't be democracy in Zimbabwe. The police are going to continue beating your mothers, the vendors, the everyone. And you call that a government. I say, those who think I'm not normal, good luck. But keep my words. Keep this video somewhere, and then continue following Kupe and Chamisa to your misery. You are going to be miserable. You are going to die painfully under this murderous government. If I'm mad, then Chamisa is normal, then Kupe is normal. They are going to give you speeches in your suffering, in your death. That's what is normal to you. Wake up, Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much for joining us on this live platform where we are speaking to, where we have been speaking to the leader of Ideal Zimbabwe, who is Jonas, who is Tinashe Jonas, who is in South Africa at the moment. And we want to thank you viewers for watching this program. We're still going to continue to unpack this Supreme Court ruling with other minds, especially the legal minds. We were talking to Tinashe Jonas, who is also an opposition leader, to see the position parties in Zimbabwe. We want to thank you. Continue to like this page, and we'll continue to give you more programs on SlyMedia. If you want to discuss anything and you are burning, you can also inbox our producers, and they'll be able to reach you and see the topic that you want to discuss. We are able to reach you wherever you are. Even during this time where we are in a lockdown, we can have a Skype conference with you from wherever you are. And even for anyone who feels has got a message which he wants to send to the Zimbabweans out there worldwide, you can do that. We are in a position to interview anyone wherever you are, whether you are in UK, you are in South Africa, as we have done to Tinashe Jonas, whether you are in America. If you want to discuss Zimbabwean issues, we are here for you as SlyMedia. We can hook you up and continue to discuss these issues on this program, Legal Matters, and other programs that are coming, where we are going to be discussing the current affairs in our country, in Zimbabwe. Whether you are local, you want to talk to us, because of the social distancing that is there these days, we cannot convene the same meeting, but we can also do a video conference and get to speak with you and get to hear your mind, and also get to hear what the viewers will be thinking about what you want the viewers to hear. Whether you are from MDC, you are from ZANU-PF, you are from the government, you have a message for Zimbabwe, let's hook up and discuss our own issues. I've heard so many politicians say we don't need outsiders to discuss our own issues. We can do it on our own, because we are people who are educated, who are learned. We can discuss our own issues and come up with our own solutions for a better Zimbabwe tomorrow. To those families who have been affected by the coronavirus, we are continuing to pray for you, that may the hand of the Almighty Jesus Christ reach you and heal you, because we know that there is no condition that is above the name of Jesus Christ. And the Bible continues to say, if a nation humbles themselves, I will heal their nation. If my people humble themselves, I will heal their nations. We continue to pray and seek the face of God so that this pandemic can be washed away and thrown into the sea, and we go back to our normal lives. Wherever you are as Zimbabweans, continue to pray, continue to seek the face of God. I would want you to continue to read Psalms 91. Every day of your life, you will see that God is on your side, including my brother who is in South Africa, Mr. Jonas. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I would read the verse so that Jehovah wehondo anotipa zvivindi zvokuti tibvise mbavha idzi.
For giving us your time. Thank you, viewers. We say bye-bye for now, and we'll meet again in the next program.